Hi, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. My name is Ursula, or Ursi, and Angel Star Rising and Marie is with me today. We came back, and we'd love to talk with you more about our ongoing conversation about Starseeds Astrology.com. It's a wonderful program by a wonderful woman named Julia Balaz in Ireland. That's a mouthful. She has an incredible online class, and Anne-Marie and I found each other by just tuning in to what our galactic journey may have been using this system. There's a free online calculator, so if you want to YouTube Anne-Marie and I on the Ascension Playground, we actually talk about how you can put in your birth information and get your own galactic heritage journey. Okay, so one of our listeners, Carrie, want to do a shout out to Carrie. Carrie, thank you so much because your comment, hi Carrie, your comment got me calling Anne-Marie going, you want to play some more? And so you were talking a little bit about keeping this conversation about Starseeds Astrology going, and the Galactic Center and Trines are on the radar. So let's scoot up to the top of the slide, Anne-Marie, get our
closer to the stars. Yeah,
let's start looking out there. And we have been talking about Maya Angelou, an incredible human being, poetess, and then some. And during our conversations, remember, we found out that she looked like she was primarily Andromedan.
Yes.
Yeah.
She had a lot of that in her chart.
So you pull your free chart from Starseeds Astrology calculator, and you can find out what your star nation of origin was in our system. And you can also find out what your last life off planet was. So we carry these energetic vibrations or personality traits from our various journeys. That sound about right, Anne-Marie?
Yes, you said that beautifully. Yes.
I sometimes get a little tongue-tied. Well, before we jump into looking at Maya Angelou's trines to see what gifts she brought in with her, I wanted to do a quick little thumbnail sketch on what it is to be an Andromedan based on a little bit of researching we did, because you can just Google Andromedan. And we talked about the galaxy, and we talked about the constellation and how those were different, and you helped educate me. And I looked at the traits as it relates to Maya Angelou. And so some of it was an innate teacher, a guide, creative, highly logical, balance of masculine, feminine, craving freedom. You know, no one's going to keep her down. No, you know, her work, her artistry transcended time. This voice of anyone who feels oppressed, and still I rise. You know, it's like, oh, it gives me shivers, just like, oh.
Goosebumps, yeah.
I would say one of the things that Andromedans do have, you get all the blessings, and then you have the challenge. And the challenge for Andromedans are usually around self-love, self-care. So you might look like everything's under control. I got this, I know everything. But behind the curtain, it's still working on self-love and self-care. And I don't care if you're 12th dimensional and you're a collective, you're still incarnating again in third dimension. And you know, it's no one rides on planet Earth for free. We're all learning something.
That's right. It's a school. We're here for school.
Earth school and the playground. We're just trying to practice.
Yep.
Hey, before we get going though, tell us a little bit about that beautiful image here.
Well, this behind me is not an eyeball. I'm not the center of the universe here.
The blue eye.
This is the Messier M57, which is the ring nebula in Lyra. And it is believed to be the place where it's where the Lyrans originated. It's the planet that where the planet was that was destroyed by the Dracos. It blew up, and this is what's left of what blew up. It's now this gorgeous vortex.
I'm telling you, it looks like an eyeball.
And I saw that picture, and it reminded me of Ursula's rainbow that she's got painted back there. So,
so we both have our ring nebulas.
Yes.
Hello, Augie.
And yes, and Augie had to get in the picture.
Oh, lots of love, lots of love.
He's a love bug for sure.
Well, there is something amazing as we learn how to step into our awareness of when we look up and out into the night sky, how amazing it is. And so some of the play that we're having on the sandbox today is really about testing for accuracy. And if you want to play this game with Galactic Starseeds Soul Journey, where have you been? Oh my God. No, let me do this mother thing. Where have you been? So we look at Maya Angelou, and we put in her birth year of 1928, April 4th, and we did the 2:10 p.m. time. Now, unbeknownst to Anne Marie and I, we were first told that her birth time was closer to noon. But when you plug in noon and that same birth information, you're going to get different aspects. So when we hooked up this morning, you and I was like, huh? I don't have that, but let's go check the input, the data. So our message on the playground is, if you're going to use a calculator or do anything with natal astrology, fixed star astrology, or star seeds, the birth time is key, because even if it's just 2 hours off, you know, it changed some of her aspects. And what do I mean by aspects?
The orbs for those stars, those fixed stars, are very small. You can only use it's only like 1 degree, 1.5 degrees from that to know which one you're using. And the further something is away, the tighter the orb needs to be.
So we're using star words like orb, aspect. You know, what the heck are you guys talking about? So if you can imagine just bringing out our little geometers, like compass. So from our perspective, from Earth out, a trine is, Anne-Marie, you remember the degree?
120.
120. I always remember it because it has the 12 in it, and I add a 0. So 120. So you take a circle and you chop it into 3 pieces of pie. So a trine in astrology means what, Anne-Marie?
It's a talent. It's a supporting aspect, and it's a talent that you have without necessarily even knowing that you have it, because it's so much a part of you. You're not necessarily aware. You think everybody is like that. So a trine in astrology, if you have trines in your natural astrology chart, then yes. But in aspects, then it would mean that that's something that you have that's lighting up at that time, because that's in you already. And so if you have a transiting trine, then it would be lighting up for you.
Lighting up. Yeah, well, we all need to lighten up sometimes. So since you asked, what do I think a trine means? A trine is, triangle, okay? And there's an astrology language, and then there's a starseeds language working with the aspects like a trine. So it's not always the same. But in this case, in starseeds, and you can always jump in too, what Julia Balaz is teaching us on her online class is, it's the inherent innate gifts as well, that the talents you bring in. But we're not talking about just past lives on Earth. We're talking about galactic journeying. So like a layer of some other potent gift. So we're just trying to learn how to embrace the broader galaxy, and not just be so Earth-centric, if that makes sense. And this system puts us on Earth, which is important, but then it brings us way out. And you and I were chit-chatting a little bit earlier about, hey man, if we're supposed to do all of our shadow work and find our shadows, you could use this program, Starseeds Astrology, to look at the unseen connections in fixed stars and planets. We had no idea we're there because we couldn't see them for hundreds of years, right?
Right. And that brings that, once you become aware of it, it's opening up your conscience to it. And then you're able to work on it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know if
can
you
I
heard
can
that
hear Jiminy
background
Cricket.
music.
Jiminy Cricket's right here. He'll let your conscience be your guide. Hello. Hello. So we should just share, there's trines, there's conjunctions, which are next to each other. There's oppositions, which you just feel that word, there's tension. And then there's sextiles. And don't get your brain in the gutter, but a sextile is like 30 degrees, right? Or is 60?
60. Half of a trine. Yes.
That's right. Half of 120 is 60. And then half of a sextile is a
That's a semi-sextile.
semi-sextile. So you're
Within
either
the squares,
semi-sextile, sextile,
Yes.
or trine.
And the squares. The squares are the half of an opposition. Yes.
Okay, I don't want to overwhelm anyone in the playground, but
Okay.
this is
No.
astrology speak. We're just trying to give it to you gently because there's a whole other light language talking about your position. Well, let me just say, I look at it as your cosmic wardrobe. Ooh, what did I agree to put on? Here's my beautiful, beautiful gifts. And oh my God, here's the challenges I agreed to wear and learn through. Because imagine if you just only had gifts and everything was easy peasy. Why not just stay in heaven? Like, why come here to learn anything? But the thought is through the challenges or finding our oppositions or squares, this is how we can expand.
They require.
Hey, there's my puppies. Yeah, they're expanding too.
That's your pup. Yay. My pup's always.
So we're digressing. You can tell we just love talking about stars. Well, I'm gonna let Anne Marie go ahead and let's look at Maya Angelou's Starseeds Astrology, Galactic Soul Connections per Julia Balaz. So this is what a Starseeds report looks like. Why don't I mute myself and you go ahead and talk a little bit because
well, we highlighted these trines. And I think Carrie had talked about she had a trine to the galactic center. I think that's what she had commented. Is that right? You're on the.
Yeah, that's about all my brain remembers was her asking about keep going, and she had a galactic center trine somewhere. I'm not sure if it was on her ascendant. The AC
right, I don't.
Ascendant.
Yeah, I think she just mentioned that she had a galactic trine. Yes, a trine to the galactic center. And then here's the South Node Andromeda trine. And then we had a trine to Beta Centauri from her Mercury. So South Node, Ascendant, and Mercury. She has like, I think 14 or more different trines, but those were the ones that we thought we would talk about.
Yeah. So, on a playground, we're just showing tools, in this case, a light language, where maybe if you're interested, you just pull up your report and let's see now if you and I can make a few little sentences. Our background in astrology is probably a little better than beginner and maybe close to intermediate, but then who knows? It's all relative to who we compare ourselves to, right? So be gentle with the information we're going to share with you, because all we keep saying is take Julia's class, but we hope to inspire you to think about yourself in terms of the galactic alignments and aspects.
Yes.
Okay, so Maya Angelou, let's see. Let's start with her South Node. So that's line 5, if you could point to that. So I'm going to read it out and then we can have a chit chat about what we think it means. SN on the 5th line is the South Node in Sagittarius at 12 degrees and 37 minutes is showing up for Maya Angelou when she was here in her 4th house. And the constellation Andromeda was trining her South Node with the star Alpheratz. And so it was trining at an orb, which you've mentioned, at 0.41 or 41 minutes of orb, which is a pretty tight orb when you think about here we are and Andromeda is way out there. Okay, angel star, help us. Let's see if we can peel that onion. What do you think that all means?
Well, the South Node is talking about lessons that you've learned So that would indicate that she had learned lessons in her lifetime in Andromeda, that these were lessons that she's bringing with her from Andromeda. And it pertains to, with Sagittarius, I would say that it has something to do with belief systems and learning, higher learning, and adventure possibly as well. And in her fourth house, it would have to do with her family and her roots and her foundations.
Wow.
So these Andromedan connections and gifts that she has would all apply in those ways.
Great. And I'm gonna just do a little thinking here. So if anyone doesn't know about South Node, you have a South Node and an equal and opposite North Node. And in the Asian cultures, they used to call that the head of the dragon, your North Node, and the tail of the dragon, your South Node. And as you pointed out, Angel Star, the South Node is what you bring from your past experiences. In this case, you underscored she came in with a gift from Andromeda, specifically Alpherots. And then the flavor that comes with that is Sagittarius, the ninth house of truth, like capital T truth, and higher learning. And I love that it's in her house of family. So she didn't come here to just chitter chatter. She came in with gifts of already being able to bring something pretty big forward if she chose it. Just because you have this doesn't mean you have to bring it forward, right? Like, we each get that freedom of choice. Nothing's you don't have to. There's no judgment. You just, hey man, you just didn't sing your song. Here's the microphone. We're asked to step out of the choir. You know, you're going to take the microphone, or are you going to just pass it on? So, seems like she took that microphone and she sang her heart of truth.
Yeah.
And for those of you who want to know a little bit more about Andromeda, in particular Alpherots, there are some Star Nation books. I just happen to have two next to me. And I don't know, is that showing the right way? Okay. Yep. In fact, yeah, let's just leave it at that. And I'll put this in the notes. This is called Star Lord Myths, Legends, and Facts by William Tyler Olcott. And the second book, because I'm a book fiend, is this one. Sorry.
Wait, I'm going to stop share so people can see that.
Oh, good idea. Okay. Yeah. This is a woman who is repeatedly referenced in Julia's work, and her name is Vivian Robson, the Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology. And so between these two books, and Marie has that. Do you happen to have that star box next to you? Because if you don't like to read, if you don't like to read books, we're going to do a separate little something, because we just love chatting, about the cards that she has already with the constellations and their stories. So we'll cue that.
I did do a video on my channel if you wanted to check out Angel Star Rising. I had a video of the stars for this past new moon that we just had in Pisces, and I showed the cards in that video.
I love that. There go my dogs again. So that was, I think we have time for one more trine, so we can help people read their reports. So let's go back to Maya Angelou's report, because we just did her South Node, what she came in with. And if you find that you don't have a trine in your South Node, don't worry. Look for other trines in your report. Yes. Let's take care of the galactic trining, the galactic center on her ascendant. Why don't you help read the tea leaves for us?
Oh goodness, you would have me on that.
You want me to try?
I would love for you to try. Go for it.
Okay. So that line 3, AC means ascendant. And so in astrology terms, the ascendant is the mask you wear or how people see you. Hello, it may not be who you really are when you close your eyes and know yourself, but the ascendant is usually how you're seen in the world. And then some other people like to refer to it with the boat analogy, like, hey, you're like, here's the boat and it's going through the water. And this is that little person that's in the front of the boat. So as you're navigating.
I've never heard that before. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like the Poseidon, is it?
It's the naked mermaid in the front of the boat. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Got it. Okay. I like that. I'm a naked mermaid now.
Well, so it's like, what do you look like to the world? So that's your ascendant. So her ascendant was in the sign of Leo. So she's going to come out looking to the world like the lion and hear me roar and don't you mess with me or I'll eat you, king of the jungle. So
very creative too. That speaks to her
creative, romantic. So Leo, and it's at 23 degrees 58 minutes. So for me, it's not a young lion cub. This is a mature Leo, and it's in her house 1 of her identity. So it's ascendant Leo, first house, and then this connection with what she brought in, a gift with her through her trine of the galactic center. Oh my God! I mean, see this eyeball? This eyeball is green right now because I don't have this. I wanted the galactic center because that is like the portal that opens up where you just go, and it means you've been around a lot. I think, this is my interpretation.
Exactly.
What do you think the galactic center trine means? I mean,
I agree. I think that means that she would fit in. The gift would be that she would be comfortable in a number of different situations because she's been to so many different places. Because whenever you have that portal connection, that wormhole there, like,
be careful.
that definitely emphasizes. I know, it was like, ta-da, it's right there. That you've been around, you've learned a lot, and you've been exposed to a number of different star systems and just any kind of learning experiences just from across the board, across the universe,
across the galaxies,
the multiverse. Yeah,
multiverses. You're right. Parallel. And so for me, when I see that galactic center, in the spiritual world, there's people who say, oh, I'm an old soul, I'm an old soul, I'm so old, and then they're a young soul, which means you haven't been around very long. And then there's some reports that are just human. They haven't had a lot of galactic experiences. They're basically really connected to the earth. So when you play with this calculator, don't be surprised if you might find a relative, a sibling, or yourself, if it's just really basically human, and hasn't been around a lot. But when we look at Maya Angelou with her correct birth information, she was beyond old soul. This is almost like Star being, thank you for the gift that you brought through in this incarnation as Maya Angelou. Like beyond old. We say ancient soul. She's an ancient soul.
Yes, ageless. Yeah.
Ageless. What you hunting for?
I'm getting darker and darker here.
She's going into the black hole.
Fade to black.
Yeah. Well, I just love chit-chatting with you. We might pop back in for a little bit just to show that star box, but let me put it on hold real quick before we say goodbye. I'm going to pause this. Welcome back to the Ascension Playground. Anne Marie and I took a pause, but now we're back. And in honor of all things in Ascension Playgrounds around the world, and given what's happening as we focus on peace and unity, Anne Marie and I would like to read you Maya Angelou's poem. It's called still I rise. Okay, ready for this, Anne-Marie?
Yes, ma'am.
Here we go. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room.
Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise.
Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries?
Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise.
Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs?
Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide.
Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slaves. I rise. I rise. I rise. Thank you, Maya Angelou. Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Okay. May your days be filled with peace and chosen joy and love and harmony. Thanks for coming to the Ascension Playground. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye, Angel Star.